It's using Sri Lankan people's sentiment, making stories to make it relatable.
Because when it's come to misinformation, they also getting affected because of the culture thing.
But all over Sri Lanka, that's why we have it in 3 languages. And the story is also very simple. Like you said, it's very
So
simple.
I think this will reach to school students as well, because I see they are the next generation. But in rural places, I'm also coming from a village, so in rural places they don't understand these things. They just use social medias in a wrong way. Hi guys, today we are here for story launch, which is basically about the misinformation in social media. So these days we can also see and witness, because of the misinformation, there are so many people have got affected. That's why we are here. Right now I am with Mr. Fahim from Marga Institute. I just wanted to know about this initiative, like a little bit introduction about Marga Institute, and also what is this event today.
Yeah, so Marga Institute is a development entity from 1972. So we've been into development from 1972 onwards. What we focus is on research and advocacy, and also look into how we can support development in Sri Lanka. So we work predominantly with government partners, international organizations, and different entities. From 1972 onwards, we've been very closely working over the years with government enterprises and different entities over time. But now we have made a recent change towards working towards a new phenomenon, which is the social media, and looking into how social media can influence decision making as well. Given that the current generation has been mostly reliant on social media, working towards it. So based on that, we decided that we look for something around social media combating misinformation, disinformation, because it's a major issue in Sri Lanka, which has been we have several riots. For example, we had the Digana riots in 2018. We had a false information spread during the Easter attack, then also during COVID pandemic. So we decided that we'll work on this since it's a growing area of concern. So what we did is that we wanted to come out with an innovative way to do research. So we decided to launch on a storyboard storytelling approach, where we use stories for people to understand what misinformation is. So that's how this whole Fishy Tale story came up. This is funded by Learn Asia and the Canada IDRC funds as well, in collaboration with Marga Institute as partners. So what we do is that we collaboratively work on these engagements, and we wanted to make sure that storytelling is something that people can understand and relate to. So we wanted the stories to be authentic, realistic, and have characters which will resonate. So we have 3 characters here: a school kid, a journalist, as well as a senior person. So over time, people will understand different stories at different paces. So it's about understanding and looking into how misinformation, disinformation can be tackled. So the idea behind it is a real incident in Sri Lanka, where we saw some years ago, where a minister was eating raw fish. So we decided we'll work around that and see how we can relate to it in real life scenarios. So based on those scenarios, we came up with these stories. In this story, the best part is that there's no right or wrong options. You can learn on the go, so you don't have to worry about what's right and wrong. Each phase is a learning, and over time you'll understand the priorities of different characters. So that is how this whole Fishy Tale came about, and this is how the institution is helping towards it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I also experienced the website, and also I read those things, and also it's like basic understanding. It's create the basic understanding of what is mislead and misinformation as well. So I just curious about that. Are you guys like just to create the stories to create awareness, or like is there someone like already got like benefits from it? Because I can also see, I'm also in a climate change, also social service, some girls also affecting about because major things will like comes to girls, because when it's come to misinformation, they also getting affected because of the culture things. So is there anyone got benefits from these kind of initiatives or any kind of that?
The idea behind this misinformation, disinformation space is that a lot of people do not understand the difference between it. Misinformation, disinformation are 2 different concepts. So we targeted predominantly the rural audience, especially around outside Colombo as well, not just the Colombo-centric and urban population, but all over Sri Lanka. That's why we have it in 3 languages. And the story is also very simple. Like you said, it's very simple. So anyone can understand from the basic to the complicated stages. Okay, how is this whole misinformation, disinformation space going on? How do we tackle it? What are the online tools available? How can we look into these online situations? Like you said, female misinformation has been something which is predominantly high in Sri Lanka. Like even recently, we know how big the misinformation and how targeted harassment and abusive speech has happened. This game is looking into helping people understand how they can tackle it. Okay, if there's been a false image on website, how do they do fact checking? How do they go and check whether it's the right image or wrong image? If there's been a false information, how do they fact check this information? In addition to that, it's also looking into the long term. We can't be just thinking about this game to be short term and something that will help the community. For example, I would say if someone learns something out of this and he can use it on the long run, it will benefit not only him but also people he know around, because he's going to tell them, hey, I played this game, I did this game, I learned something out of this game. And this whole game, it has no app. You don't have to download application. You don't have to go to Play Store and uninstall applications if you don't have space. Even the most basic mobile phones can use it. It's a website game. It will not consume less than 20 MB or 30 MB because the images are shrinked in a way which doesn't consume data. And if you see the video as well, the starting video, it's using Sri Lankan people's sentiment, making stories to make it relatable. All the characters here could be me, you, or somebody else, because we had been at school at one stage thinking like this. We had been at a working stage right now, maybe like a journalist. And when we get older, we understand the different dimensions of this. So right now, I would say people are benefiting by playing the game. Who have gone through the entire game have benefited, but we are still at the early stages of launch. So I would say in 2 months' time, we are targeting 100,000 users over Sri Lanka. Currently, we have over 200 users who are currently playing the game regularly. But if we can reach the 100,000, I would say at least 10% of that audience would learn something. So the target on the long run is even if 1,000 people can benefit out of our game, we have made a success out of it.
Yeah, that's great. And also, I think this will reach to school students as well, because I see they are the next generation. But in rural places, I'm also coming from a village. So in rural places, they don't understand these things. They just use social medias in a wrong way as well. So it can be create the misinformation so many ways. So I think I'm also gonna send them to the links as well, and also I will write the blog about this, and you can also read it, and I will attach the link about this information as well. So I think you guys have any initiative to like teach for the school students or as
Yeah,
that
so
kind of
I mean, we
initiative?
have two things. So one is the Fishy Tale launch, this game launch. We are planning to go to schools. We are planning to go to rural schools. We have a lot of partners. We work with 14 partners in 14 districts. So we plan to take this game to the partners, make sure that they take to schools. In addition to that, we have something called the evidence-based policymaking toolkit, where we have developed a toolkit in Marga Institute. So this toolkit will help people understand what information is needed to do research, what information is needed to address problems, how can we address issues, fundamental issues to big issues. So the plan on the long run is to go across Sri Lanka, use our partner network, go to our different districts, teach them in different districts, maybe take it to the government level as well to show the government, say how much can benefit, because this game can be adapted to different scenarios. You can change the story based on different scenarios, and you can play different persons. Like there's no order. You can start one story and go to the next story or anything, because your learning will be different. You learn everything new. So like you said, schools are our target. We would like to see how our social content creators can promote this first and then look at the school level.
Yeah, definitely we will do our best. And personally, I got really interested in this kind of initiative, and I will definitely go take this initiative to our village as well and try to promote it in various way. And thank you so much once again
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
thank you so much for the introduction.